Hello traders and welcome to lesson number 5 in the ReadFX Beginners Forex Trading course. So what are pips and points? Let's have a look. If we look at this price that we saw earlier on from our broker, we can see that we have a whole number and then some numbers after the decimal. So let's have a closer look at how we break that down. Now, first of all, a pip is percentage in points, and brokers like to quote to 5 decimal places, and that's what we can see here. We have 5 numbers after the decimal. Now, the first 2 numbers after the decimal, in this case, are cents, and you'll be used to seeing this. So this is $1 and 5 cents. But the 3 numbers after that, you probably haven't seen before if you're not a trader. So the numbers in the white box, these are pips. Now, a pip is the 4th decimal place. In this case, it is 6 pips, okay? And it's the 4th decimal place, which is 1/100th of 1 cent. The blue box shows us fractal pips. Now, fractal pips are sometimes called pipettes or even points in Forex, and these are 1/10th of 1 pip. So we entirely ignore fractal pips because they're just such a small amount of money, it's insignificant. Now, pips, on the other hand, are what traders use most of the time. So when currency values change, they tend not to change by whole cents very often. It can sometimes take days, weeks, even months for the euro US dollar, for example, to go from $1.05 to $1.06. So most of the time, traders are working with pips. Now then, let's have a look at the US dollar Japanese yen. Now the reason I want to show you this is because I've just told you that brokers like to quote to 5 decimal places, and you can immediately see that on a Japanese yen pair, they don't do that. So the Japanese yen is the exception to the rule, and they only quote to 3 decimal places. Now, the same as before, we're not really interested in the fractal pips. They're just too small to be significant. So inside the white box here, we have pips. So this example that we're looking at reads 149 Japanese yen and 43 pips. The yen is a bit of a strange currency in that they don't actually have cents. They don't spend cents in the shops. They only spend whole yen. So only Forex traders will ever use pips on the Japanese yen. But it works in exactly the same way as on other Forex pairs. So when you trade in the yen, these are the numbers that you're interested in. Then let's look at an example of stocks and indices. In this case, it's an index, okay? So an index is just made up of stocks. Now, in this case, the Dow Jones Industrial Average, and you can see there's a big 30, is also known as the US 30. And what that means is it contains 30 US stocks. And the price, again, is very different. This time, we're looking at points. Now, the points in the case of the Dow Jones are actually before the decimal, not after. And the reason for that is that the price is so high. With a Forex pair, you're generally dealing with $1 and then some cents. But here, if you look at this price, it's actually $33,554. So we have tens of thousands of dollars in this price. Therefore, the points, because in a stock or an index, they don't refer to these increments as pips, they call them points. The points are whole dollars. So this $54 is 54 points. And the last digit before the decimal are single points. So if this goes to 55, it's gone up 1 point. Now the cents are a bit like the fractal pips in Forex. They're just entirely irrelevant. In fact, with my broker, you can't even trade these. So the only thing we're interested in is the dollars. Now, one last thing I want to mention is the jargon. So Forex traders and stock traders will often use the terms that they are familiar with to describe these numbers. So for example, if you started off trading stocks, then you'll refer to these numbers as points. Even if you go onto a currency pair and place a trade, you won't refer to it as pips. You'll probably still call it points. And the same is true of Forex traders. So Forex traders will refer to these numbers as pips, and if they go and trade a stock, they're probably still going to call it pips. These terms are used interchangeably, and everyone will know what you mean. So let's recap. We've covered Forex pips and points, Japanese yen pips and points, and we've also looked at Forex stocks and indices. In the next lesson, we're going to look at lots and contracts.